Welcome everyone to the sixth round of the Zero Evolution Championship. Today, we're gonna be here in Road Atlanta. I'm Marco for the sixth week in a row, and today I will be accompanied by Louis. Louis, how are you doing?
Hello, Marco. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very fine, thanks. Looking forward to another exciting round of the Zira Evolution series here in Road Atlanta. What do you think? Who's the favorite for today?
Um, I personally think that Jonas might be able to continue his strong form. For those of you who don't know, since we didn't have a broadcast for the fifth round, Jonas became the second different winner of the semi-pro um, season, and he won in Monza ahead of Turek and our good friend Balaz Tuska. And I honestly think that he could uh, keep up this good form. What do you think, Louis?
Well, I think Peter is gonna have a few words about that, but yeah, definitely. I expect some close racing in the front of the field. Uh, Even though we have a little less racers that we used to have in the beginning, but that not necessarily means that we are gonna be lack of close racing today.
Yeah, as it always has been the case with semi-pro, we've always had very good races, even though we didn't have many drivers. But that's the nice thing about this championship. Yeah, and yeah, the preview, uh, 5 rounds down and two to go, and we're currently the sixth round, Road Atlanta, which is a very awesome track that we'll show in a bit, which is most notable for Petit Le Mans, which is a 12-hour event that's held every year for the IMSA Championship. And as you can see, tires, hards, intermediates, and wet tires, but there is no rain around Road Atlanta, so we'll see only hard tires. 12 turns, 4 kilometers, but as it's a relatively short track, it will provide some close laps. Here's round results. Mercedes Sochi took the win with the fastest lap ahead of Turok and Tuska. Uh, Paint, Ferreira, and Turokzi were all penalized, but Paint managed to gain 2 positions at the expense of Ferreira and Turokzi. Uh, the standings. Peter Kiss is still on 101 points, followed by Sochi, Turok, Paint, and Turokzi. In the current team standings, HRT is still the leading team. So, uh, Louis, are you ready to see some beautiful action?
Yes, I am, and I'm very happy for my team HRT to be on the lead in this championship. I'm very proud of my guys.
Yeah, that's always nice to see. And yeah, I think we're in qualifying now. And as we can see, Marceli Stocci, the round 5 winner, uh, on his outlap, preparing for his hot lap. And I'm gonna join the lobby very quickly so I can provide some more commentary.
Do you like this track, Marco? Do you like driving this track?
Yeah, it's a very nice track. I did Petit Le Mans in our racing with the BMW LMDH, and it was a very fun experience. It's despite being a short track, like relatively short, it's pretty hard actually,
It is.
cause the turns require a lot of precision, and if you mess up one of them, you will lose a lot of time because the corners flow into each other, especially the S's, the downhill S's. That if you take them right, you will gain a lot of time. But if you mess up just one corner out of all of them, you will lose a lot and a lot of time. And what do you think about the track, Louis?
Well, I have my issues with this track, to be honest. The first time I met this track was in GT7, so it's a brand new layout for me, and I find it very tricky, especially the first half. This very where Ferreira is. Is he there? Is he there? No, no, no. See, I
Ferreira
still
is
got
leading the
lost.
pack.
See, I still got lost. But let's
Yeah,
go full lap with Ferreira, and maybe we can talk about the layout of the track.
yeah. Ferreira is taking the very long straight, which leads into the chicane, which is very crucial as
This was the
uh,
chicane you were talking about, right? Or
uh,
not?
I was talking about the X's, but this chicane
Ah,
is
okay.
crucial because the X is uphill and then it goes downhill, and it will unsettle the car really badly. And there's the last corner, which is mostly flat out, as Ferreira closes the lap on provisional pole, but Mercedes Touchy does even better. And how about Petty? 3 milliseconds slower than Mercedes Touchy. Uh, and Ferreira's just gone off in turn 1.
Yeah.
A very tricky
Well,
corner.
I
Uh,
wanted to say that the very first corner is already tricky because it's a very fast sweeping ride with a chicane on the top of the hill that you cannot see from down below. Uh, so that can be quite tricky for someone who is not prepared.
Yeah. Turn 1 is a very, very fast corner, and you can't take a lot of speed into it, but you have to consider that the corner after that is the one leading up to the S's. So you have to compromise your line on the exit to uh, do turn 1 in a very fast manner, but also have a good line coming up to the S's, which, as you said, uh, it's a blind corner, and if you get it right, then you gain about 5 or 6 tenths, which is a lot on this track.
Mm, yeah.
And we see Masai Stochi having a massive slide at the last corner, still on provisional pole, and it seems like not many people are improving. It seems like they all had their shot. Punks goes up to P5, 26-7. Tassi manages to improve. And what does Lancelot have for us? The last corner, he's gonna improve, but that's not enough to lift him from the last row of the grid.
It's very close. It's 3 thousandths of a second between Shunas and Kish. And Kish is on a purple sector.
Yeah,
Maybe this will be the lap that he takes the lead.
yeah, we'll see if he gets the final part right. But I've noticed that this field is pretty close. The gap between P1 and P8 is 1 second, and I think this is
Mm.
the closest the field has ever been all year. Uh, but this could well and truly change if Jonas or Kiss manage to improve on their laps. Currently, Jonas is coming out of the last corner, and what does the Czech driver have for all the field? And he doesn't improve, 26.5. And what does Kiss have to? What does Kiss have?
He
He
doesn't
also
improve either.
fails to improve, 26.4. And Panks manages to improve again, 26.7. Tassi gets up to P4,
Opa!
and wow, what a lap!
Sub
25.
26.
Yeah, yeah, and Lancelot improves again, still being a second off Haba. And
Mm.
yeah, it still stands. The field is pretty close. Short track, but short but complicated track, still manages to have a close field. I'm happy to see that,
Yeah,
because
it's very level.
yeah, I remember the first few rounds where Haba took pole by ridiculous margins every single race, but
Yeah.
now the field is pretty close. So
Haba is really good on one lap, but the consistency is kind of lacking during a long race. Sometimes he gets the flow and can manage a longer endurance race, but the chance for a mistake is always there for Turozzi.
yeah, I think he has 100% win rate in 4 races that he competed in. He has won all 4 of them, but has
Mm,
taken only one fastest lap out of all 4 of them.
mm, interesting statistics there.
Yeah. I saw that Petty improved 26-1, gets closer to his teammate, and even Lancelot manages to improve and lifts himself up from P8 and goes up to P4 with a 26-4, just half a second off the pole, which is really nice to see. And we see that the HRT cars are still asserting their dominance as they have been all season, but
Mistake from Hava in the meanwhile.
oh yeah, but that's costly. Which is oh
Oof,
that
that was
was
close.
that was that was really close between him and Lancelot, but there's no contact between them.
It was
Uh,
calculated.
yeah, and but we're in the collision stages of qualifying, so I think the drivers will have just one more lap at their disposal. And Ferreira goes off and hits the wall out of the last corner. Oh no. But yeah, Marcelli Stocci is the first driver to cross the line to start what is most likely the final lap for everyone in this qualifying session. And will be trying to improve on his current P3 as he goes down the S's into turn 5, which is a very tricky corner to get right, and up the hill and going down to turn 6. It's not improving in this moment as Ferreira goes in the pits. Um, yeah. So everyone on their final lap, Tassi is gonna stop on track right before the line, probably to probably
Not
waiting
to
for the
start
hold
another
line.
lap.
Haba's just gone off and has got rear damage, so Haba is not gonna improve on his lap. Uh, Marcelo Stocci is not improving on his lap. He's like a tenth from his personal best, but he's going
Oh,
for the last chicane now, and oh, it gets massive oversteer, and that will most likely not be an improvement on his lap time as he comes out the
but
last
he's
corner.
improved. And he messed it up
26-4,
too.
yeah, and Petty comes out the last corner and doesn't improve either. So it seems like this has just not been the session for the drivers. Penx is improving. Penx is actually improving by less than a tenth. He's currently P7, so will he be able to continue on his good lap to possibly improve on his qualifying position? When he comes out the last corner, he will not improve. Very interesting. No
Maybe.
driver managed to improve on their last runs.
Yeah, maybe have the conditions changed in a way that the most ideal lap was lap 4 and 5 for most of the people, as I can see on the lap times, searching through them.
Yeah. But yeah, Haba takes pole ahead of Petit and Marcelistoci. But it doesn't seem like it's over. The gaps are pretty close, and the drivers seem to be making errors when trying to
Mm.
push. So maybe Haba could will have to work hard to keep his 100% winning streak alive for this round.
It's
And
gonna be
Haba,
critical.
yeah, and if I'm not wrong, Haba has the opportunity to win the title in this race. Uh, okay. uh, and as we wait for the qualifying, I will quickly fact check myself to see if what I said was right.
All right, all right. Because
Uh,
maybe some of our
101.
driver viewers know we are already preparing for season 2 of the Zero Evolution Championship, which is the registering season is open,
Yeah.
and the season itself is gonna start in January next year. Uh, but Marco will tell you the details as soon.
Yeah. So, for this championship, in the Pro category, the car will change from the BMW M6 to the Lexus RCF, while the semi-pro car will be the Mazda 3 Group 4,
Hold on,
and the
Marco. I think Balázs has a infography about this. Does he?
lights out, and Hava gets a good start. Marcellus Tucci gets a decent start, and Lancelot gets into fourth position. Uh, After having a decent start, he's gonna try to go around the outside of Marcellus Tucci to take third place, but doesn't manage to take the position away from the Czech driver. While behind them, everyone stays single file, and we have no incidents for the first sector. Nice
Very
start from
nice,
everyone.
clean start from everyone. Yeah. So I wanted to say a couple minutes ago that it's very critical in this very narrow track, and that there is only basically one driving line, especially in the first part of the track. So yeah, whoever gets side by side has to somebody has to concede.
Haba has a penalty. Haba has a penalty. So
Already.
that will, yeah. So that will shake up. Oh, Lancelot has had an incident out the last the turn 7 fun, while Haba will have to serve his penalty now, and that will give a shot to his teammate to take over the lead, and that may give a shot to Marcellus Tucci, and Marcellus Tucci goes for it. Hits Haba, and they both
Oh,
in. No,
big incident, big incident.
and Marcellus Tucci is waiting for Haba, and yeah, seems
I
like
think this was
yeah,
not on Haba this time.
yeah. I think Marcel, I think he braked a bit too late for the chicane and didn't want to hit Haba, but uh, unfortunately it happened, and well, Haba down to sixth, Marcel Stochi down
Tashi
to
is
last.
second
Yep,
in the midst of
and
this.
yeah, Petty took over the lead. Tassi second, Gaben third, Penks fourth, and Ferreira, who's our last, is up to P5. Well done to the Portuguese driver to
And
jump up 3 positions.
that's an interesting shuffle we have now because frankly, Turoci, Turek, and Shunas all can climb their way back to the front of the pack because it's only lap 2 of the 21 lap race. So they will have plenty of time to make a recovery drive about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Who
gonna be
knows?
interesting to see.
If the Rook is just 9 seconds behind the leader, so it can actually happen.
Yeah, they are not that far off.
Yeah. And well, Rook is 11 seconds behind, and Istach is just 12 behind. And if the cards had battle, then they might get some more points. So there's a interesting fight going on for P3, with Panks seemingly holding up Gabin, and Pereira wants to get a piece of it. And so far, there's still single file. Uh, but it seems like that Gabin is faster in some parts of the track. So who knows? Maybe we can get a battle out of it.
Definitely gonna be some action among these three sooner or later. And Tashi is building up quite a lead before these trio.
Yeah. Uh,
But Petty
so
is just
yeah,
gone already.
yeah. Petty is doing 26-3. Already 3 seconds ahead of Tassi. And wow, what a turn of events! But it seems like an HRT car might just win again. Uh, I know it's only lap 4 and
Don't
anything
jinx
can
it, yeah.
happen. Yes, I accidentally jinxed it. Oh no. But yeah,
It's very
Kiss
early,
can
very early in the race.
yeah Kiss can go 5 for 5. Uh, as a friend now, I think he will be crowned champion. Uh, if the order stays like this.
Mm.
Uh, uh, but yeah, uh, when we're on single file right now, now Istochi is seems to be um faster than Lancelot, as Istochi did a 28.5 in the previous lap and Lancelot 28.9. And it's interesting that the two winners this season are currently running first and last. Um,
Yeah,
just
that's true.
yeah, but who knows? Maybe we can get another winner if we get lucky. Uh, Hasi has to speed up his pace if he wants to win, as uh Petr is gonna cross the line and he's gonna do a 26.9, while Tassi is doing a 27.5. And Panks is faster than Tassi, so
Yeah, it
uh
seems yeah, Pence is catching up to Tashi. Sure,
yep,
slowly but surely.
yep. And Ferreira seems to be faster than Gabin, as he was bump drafting him before they got to turn one. And but Ferreira wasn't able to pass the Hungarian driver, as he wasn't close enough to attempt to move. And that's actually like a good thing. If you know when to back out, uh, you it will make you go anywhere really, because uh, if you know how when to back out, you will not cause any stupid accidents. And
Mm.
I think we have seen that from every driver at least once in this season. And although Lancelot got a penalty, so Masami Stochi will most certainly go up to P7 once Torok serves his penalty.
Papa
So
is only 2 seconds from the mid pack in
yeah.
Rio, so
Yeah.
he's already making his way up a pack.
Yeah, Haba is flying, man.
He's
So
doing 26.4, 26.6s, while the cars in front of
26.
him.
26.5. He's lapping 2 tenths faster than his own teammate. And
Hmm.
I remember Haba being fast at Dragon Show, but ultimately was involved in a crash and didn't win the race. So when will the curse end for Roxy? He he's
It's a
always
long
got
curse, I
to
can
win.
tell you. It's been away. It's been around for long, so it would be high time.
Yeah, he has been desperately trying to win a race, but hasn't been able to, unfortunately, due to circumstances out of his control. So it will be a heartwarming story to see him actually win uh, over the Atlanta or the Nürburgring next week, because I feel like has proven himself to be a possible race winner. But unfortunately hasn't got the luck to
Yeah,
score that win.
and look, just in one lap, he's right behind Ferreira by
Yeah.
the end of the lap.
Yeah, and it seems like Petty has slowed down his pace. 0.70. Haba 0.65.
Hmm.
Wow. And it's on lap 7. We're one third of the
And
race
Hammer
in.
goes wide. Oh no, I thought he's going wide, but it was just some lag, it seems.
Yeah, yeah, we're kind of some lag. Well, Mercedes touch has gone off and has spun coming out turn 1. They
Uh-oh.
hit the wall. Oh, almost hit the wall, but that's not ideal for the Czech driver. The Monza winner, around 5 winner, and currently and before the race was second in the points. So yeah, uh, uh now the field is even more spread out, but Haba
Is it?
might just
Because all I see
yeah
is second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth within
yeah
reach of each other.
yeah uh but I think Haba might overtake Ferreira in the next
I think
1 or 2 laps.
Abba will overtake everyone in this row of cars. In
Yeah.
I I bet you in 3 laps. But
All right.
will he do it cleanly? That's the
Bet
question.
is on. The bet is on. Oh, uh,
All right. Lap 8. Remember that.
yeah,
So lap 11,
yeah.
Abba should be
So
all through.
he goes, has understeer in the middle part, yes, is due to the dirty air. Because at turn 5, seems like he's got a good exit, but that will not be enough to be sufficiently alongside the Portuguese driver. So he's gonna have to prepare a good exit at a turn 7 to overtake the Portuguese driver, but Ferreira goes wide, and that allows Haba to pass him for P5. So that's
That was
one
just
done.
mental warfare. Abba filled the rear view mirror of Ferreira for a
Yeah,
couple of corners.
for
On
the
to
chest.
Pakalo. On to Gaben.
Yep. And Pereira's got nothing for Haba. So yeah, now Haba is gonna go after Gabin. But there's an issue because Gabin has the slipstream of Pengt and Pengt has the slipstream of Tassi. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be a bit hard to gain on people who are slipstreaming each other. But Haba doesn't seem like to have that problem as he yeah, I can see I don't know if people can see, but there is a banner on the middle of the track. I think it's a visual glitch. Because every time I see Haba goes up in the air.
I didn't notice, but maybe that's that half a second he finds. He spends in the
Yeah,
air time every lap.
yeah, yeah. Uh, wait, Haba gets really close to Goblin, and
And they
will
are
he
very
manage?
close to Tashi. Did something. All this fighting with Tashi and Pants is just slowing them down and onto the hands of Haba, who is already overtaking Gaban, but he's on the outside.
Does Goblin have anything for Haba?
Uh,
He doesn't have anything. Tucks him behind, and Haba gears up to P4 with
two
gaining
more
2
laps.
positions in 2 laps. No,
2 more laps, Marco.
no, 1 lap, 1 lap.
1 lap. All right, all right.
This
Can
is
he
the
make?
second lap.
Can he do it? A
It
double
gets
one.
purple. Will
Oh
it
my
go on
God, Haba
Panks?
is on fire.
Oh,
He
and
gained
Panks
3
goes
seconds
wide.
on Petty
Panks
2.
goes wide.
Oh my
Oh,
God, Haba is on fire. Is
oh, there has been contact between Panks and Ferreira. But both drivers managed to keep this straight. But Haba is on the back of Tassi. 4 tenths as they go up to turn 5. Tassi gets an interesting exit, and that will allow Haba to
we
get
see the
even closer
replay.
behind.
Was there a contact there? I can see the air time now in the replay.
Haba goes for it. Haba's up to P2.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah, that's what you said. In 3 laps, overtook everyone. Yeah,
And
you were
he even
right.
gained all this battling, and also he also gained 2 seconds on Petty
Does
because there was 9 between them.
Yeah, but does Tassi have anything for Haba? He makes him. Oh wait, or Tassi consider about going to the inside, but it wasn't
He
enough.
also has to defend because Gaben is all over Tashi now.
Tassi covers him off before the last corner, but ultimately has to run a bit wide on exit, and Gabin uh, peeks at the inside, stays behind, and it seems like uh, it's Tassi's position to lose. Oh,
Ooh,
contact between the 2 guys, but nothing too serious, and they are still both running in P2 and 4. Wow, that was a
what a drive.
mouthful.
Yeah, yeah. Nice couple of laps.
Yeah, but
And
Galbin is still on the back of Tassi. He's gonna go round the outside of turn 6. Is he gonna do it?
Pereira there too.
Oh, almost contact between the 2 of them. Uh, but now they're all 3 very close together. Out of turn 7. So, will we see a move being made by either one of them going into the chicane?
And was a
Ferreira's,
penalty, so
yeah, he's most likely out of his battle for now. Um, but
but
Ferreira considers going to the inside, doesn't fully commit. Goblin leaves in the space, and that will
mm,
allow Tassi to pull away as Ferreira goes up to the inside of Goblin on the last corner. Who will come out ahead? Ferreira pushes Goblin to the edge and
mm,
gets the position and moves up to P4.
very nice and aggressive move by Ferreira.
And that was also
At
clean,
first, I
and that's what.
at first I thought he's backing out of it at the chicane, but it was a nicely built up attack.
Yeah, that was psychological warfare. As Ferreira fooled Gabin into leaving him space, so
Mm,
he could have a better exit, as Gabin would have a compromised line for the chicane. That was a very
exactly.
well calculated move
Intelligent,
from the
very intelligent driving from the Portuguese.
Yep. And Tanks is within a second of Gabin. So we might just see Tanks join in Visbal for P4 in a bit. And Gabin, 3 tenths behind the Portuguese driver, heading to the chicane. Uh, is he gonna go for the inside? Will he do it? He considers but tucks in behind. And Ferreira still holds on to P4. But Paints is getting closer and closer to Gabin, and Ferreira gets oversteer. Gets massive oversteer out the chicane. That's not enough for Gabin to catch him sufficiently to attempt to move. Uh, so yeah, the positions stay the same. But Gabin is not gonna give up easily. He, he's trying to spot any opportunity he can find to overtake Ferreira and get up again to P4. But it's gonna be a bit hard as this track doesn't offer many overtaking opportunities, and Panks is inching closer and closer. So, uh, if he's gonna attack Ferreira, he's gonna have to worry about Panks behind.
And he's already there. He's already arrived. So by the end of this straight, I'm expecting a freeway before the chicane.
Yeah, Panks
But
is not close enough to make it free wide, but Garbin can easily make it too wide as he uh, goes side by side with Ferreira coming up to the chicane, but doesn't break late enough, and Ferreira still holds on to P4. But Panks gets even closer to Garbin, and this will be critical for all three of them, because uh, Garbin is in a sandwich. Ferreira has to defend from two cars, and Panks has to uh, carefully go through two cars. It's
and
gonna be
also
interesting.
Tashby is cannot Tashby cannot be relaxed because even though he has a 1.5 second lead over this trio, that's not that far.
Yeah, but it seems like Ferreira is catching Tassi, and Ferreira is in Tassi's slipstream range. So who knows? Will we get a four-car battle as we see Panks going down the inside of Garbin for a P5 and makes a bit
Ultimately,
of
this is for
contact, but
podium. Oh,
it's all good. It's all good. And Ferreira is just 8 tenths from the RH driver, who had who did a 27.6 as his last lap, and Ferreira did a 27.5. Uh, yeah, we got very good racing here.
eh,
Uh,
who would have thought? Even though we are used to good racing here at Zero Evolution Championship Series.
yeah. Now the field is spread a bit more. Ferreira has lost his slipstream to Tassi, but Panks is the one to worry about, as he just had 27.6, but despite that, he's mostly faster than Ferreira. So Pedro will have to um, try and be faster, and will also have to defend from Panks as he goes a bit wide in the S's and hits the grass. And that made him lose a lot of time. And Panks is just half a second uh, behind the Portuguese driver, going down to turn 7 now. 3 tenths separating the fourth and fifth places, and Panks gets a better exit than Ferreira and is gonna try to pass him going down the straight. Ferreira moves to the right. He's gonna give Panks the momentary outside line, which is gonna turn to the inside line for the chicane, and who's gonna come out ahead? Panks breaks late and gets a position, but can Ferreira get him back? Not likely, as Panks gets a very good exit and moves himself up to P4. Well done. Wow.
Tashi is
Yeah, Luke.
still holding on to the podium
Yeah,
position. Yeah,
Yeah, but who knows for how long? As Pegt seems to be uh faster than Tassi, and as we go up to turn 6, Tassi is just 1.4 behind. Wait, Tassi is just 1.5 ahead of Pegt, and meanwhile behind Gabin, uh, is going for the attack on Ferreira
yeah,
once
and
again.
Tashi's only chance that would be that Pants is again tangled in with the fighting with Ferreira and Gaban behind. 'Cause he's not that far, and we could see that they slow each other down uh, a lot. And again, side by side, Gaban and Ferreira.
Goblin gets the position, moves himself up to P5. Uh, and let me just check the most recent laps. Uh, yeah, Peter Kiss has been lapping 27.5, Haba 26.8, Tassi 27.3, Panks 27.3, Goblin 27.3, and Ferreira 27.8, along with Lancelot 28.6 and Jonas 31.3. Uh, Seems like a lot of people are lapping in 27.3,
Yeah,
and most are lapping faster than the current leader. He doesn't really need to push at all, but his gap has been decreasing lap by lap, as Haba is just 5 seconds behind Kiss.
and you see in lap 11 there was only 1,000th of a second between the lap time of Petty and Haba, so they are very closely matched. But I believe that Peter Kish is just cruising at this point of the race. There are only 4 laps left.
Yeah, he doesn't need to push that much. He knows he's gonna win the title in this race, so he doesn't
I
need
doubt he knows.
to.
I doubt he knows. I will ask him if he knew after the race, but I doubt he already calculated it.
Well, I don't know.
He's just here
Oh,
for the he's just here for the win every time.
yeah, that's interesting. Um, but yes, lap 18 out of 21. So we have 4 laps remaining, and there isn't a clear battle going on as most of the field has spread out, and Panks has been unable to catch Hassi for the podium. Uh,
Yeah.
and Goblin has just made a mistake out of turn 5. Now give Ferreira a bit of a shot to maybe go for an overtake in the next few laps, as the Portuguese driver is just 7 tenths behind Goblin. Actually 6, and is gaining because Goblin has had a very bad exit out of turn 7. Uh, just half a second between the two drivers. The battle for a final spot in top 5 is heating up, with just 4 tenths separating the two drivers, and Ferreira goes a bit too deep, going through the chicane, and loses a bit of time, unfortunately. Wow, this is uh getting very interesting, actually. Uh, I probably need to take a bit of water after this, because uh,
Yeah, you
yeah.
of minutes, aren't you? No, don't you?
Yeah, I've been talking for a lot. But yeah, if Louis, what do you think of this race so far?
Well, the the incident in the beginning laps gave us a good show by the end of the race, because all this shuffling with the faster guys in the back Well, actually, if you think about it, only Haba was the only one of that incident who could make a proper recovery. Turek is seventh, Shunas is eighth, and by a big margin, both of them. So, so interesting. But yeah, it's not over yet, but it was a fun race, and also the midfield giving us some spectacle. Pence, Tashi, Gaben, and Ferreira all gave us a showcase of some close and clean racing today.
Yeah, and we're happy to see that. We're currently lap 20 out of 21, which means it's 2 laps to go, and no one is within 1 second of each other. Even though the map clearly shows that from P3 to P6, they seem to be close, but they actually are not. Unfortunately, closest gap is between P2 and P4. 1.2 seconds separating Tassi and Pengt. And Gabin actually seems to be lapping close to Pengt, which is something we didn't see earlier in the race.
Is he preparing for a final lap attack?
Yeah,
What do
most
you think?
likely, as
They got
yeah,
closer to Tashi too, it seems.
1.1. Uh, it is likely Gabin will need to uh become speed in the next lap if he wants to overtake Pengt, which is actually a possibility, as Gabin is currently in Pengt's slipstream, and could very well take P4 if he plays his cards right. And Petty has just started the final lap uh, ahead of Haba, Tassi, Pengt, and Gabin, who's still within his slipstream range of Pengt as they go through turn one. Pengt seems like he's got a fine exit, but Gabin seems like he's got a better one. For the S's, Gabin uses the grass to get a bit more turning, but can never doesn't seem like he can get within 1 second
Yeah,
of
this is
P4.
not striking distance. I think he just realized that it's not
Yeah,
gonna worth it.
yeah, he's gonna have to pray for a mistake on Penk's part if he wants to get up to P4. But it doesn't seem like it, as the clock is ticking down, and Peter Case is coming up to the chicane to finish round 6. Petty goes for the chicane for the final time, goes uphill, then downhill, going through the last corner. It's gonna be 5 wins out of 5 races where Petty started, and Petty wins the semi-pro championship in an
GG.
amazing display. Six
What a race.
races, and
And HRT wins the constructors title of the first season of the
of
Pro Amateur Series.
semi-pro. Yep.
Semi-throw. Thanks. Sorry. I'm so excited. I cannot find the words for my team HRT winning their first official title.
Yeah. Well done to Louis' team, who has completely dominated this season, winning 5 or 6 races, and Petty winning every race he has competed in. He then competed in Monza, and that was the only race he missed. But
Yeah.
uh, Kiss is the new champion and is the inaugural champion of the Semi-Pro Series. But uh, despite that, Haba has taken another fastest lap away from Petty with a 26-1 and managed to close out the gap to 5.2 seconds by the end of the race. What a race! And what a
It
way
was
to.
fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. But even though the championship fight is over, we'll be seeing you next week for the final round of both December
Ah,
5th.
yeah,
We
we
have
moved. We moved it
oh
because the guys were in France. So the final will be on the 3rd of December, which is a
Oh.
Sunday, I believe, also.
Yeah, it's a Sunday. So we'll be seeing you in 2 weeks to see the final round of the semi-pro championship at the Nürburgring GP. And in a bit, you'll also see the pro championship, where I will be competing to try and keep my championship hopes alive
Yeah,
going
let's go,
into
Marco.
Nürburgring.
We're all
Yeah,
gonna cheer for you.
I
I'm gonna
appreciate
I'm
it,
gonna
man.
stay here in the commentary, so you will have one supporter at least who can
Yeah.
give it give it
Uh,
give his voice for you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. Um, but this has been all for the semi-pro coverage, and do not leave, as you'll see the pro race and qualifying in just like 10 minutes or so. So uh, I'll see you guys next week, but uh, in my place there will be another commentator who I really like working with, and that is Carter. So see you guys next week, and enjoy the pro race.
Yeah, see you in a bit, and good luck, Marco.
Appreciate it, man.
Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing? And welcome to Zyra Evolution. We are here for the pro round today, and we are here at Road Atlanta. You've already had the commentator prior to me for the semi-pro race, but I am here to help out in the pro race. Louis, how are you doing, my friend?
Hello, Carter. Nice to meet you for the first time.
It's the first time, isn't it?
It is the first time that we do this together, so I'm looking forward to it, even as a commentary, even as a race. Based on the last race, the semi-pro race, it's gonna be full of excitement. I'm curious about how is Marco doing this race, because he needs to keep his championship alive. So he's not far from Michalidas, but
That is the
I
big
believe
thing.
Michalidas will have a couple of words about that too.
Absolutely. We have still got this championship is still alive. There is a bit of a gap at the moment, but it can be closed down. Marco basically he needs to win this race at the end of the day. He can get away with not winning it, but winning it does put him in a really good position to try and get the championship here today. But as we say, the championship can be wrapped up today. It may not be. We don't know, and that is the beauty of it.
We're here to see. And also Marco told me he really likes this track and he has a lot of practice on the mini Le Mans series. So
yeah, well, speaking of, we are here for Road Atlanta for the 6th round of the season. Only 2 more to go today, and the Nürburgring we go to next week to finish it all off. All of the tyres in the pro race, we've got the soft, medium, hard, inters and wet weather, but we are looking pretty dry throughout today. 4 kilometres, 3 sectors, 12 turns and 47 laps to complete. It's gonna be a long one, and especially I'm looking at the S's and seeing something's going wrong there over 47 laps.
yeah, Marco thought the same. Like that's the most exciting part of the track. Also, for me, it's the first half.
Well, out of last week's race, we have Matty come out on top, and Marco finished only P3, which definitely detrimented his final result, as he currently sits, 16 points below Matty, so he has got a way to go. The WRT team, though, however, are sat comfortably at the top of the table, 143 points to Zyra's 104. But looking down the grid still, we do have the battles still to go. It isn't just about our front two. Here is the car, the BMW M6 GT3 Sprint model. It has a 4.4 litre, 584 brake horsepower, 1,300 kilo turbo engine. Sorry, I think I just cut out a little bit for a second there. It is an absolute monster of a vehicle, and it's a bit heavy. I think it's going to drag around this circuit a little bit.
Yeah, especially because this track is very narrow, and all these high-speed corners, especially the final corner of the track, yeah, you rely on the grip in that part, and a heavy car is not gonna make that easy for the drivers today.
And here is the M4 safety car. It's a 3 litre, 425 horsepower. It's slightly heavier. It's got much less downforce. So don't expect it to be going at race pace. But then again, it's a safety car. That's its job. It's a lovely colour. I'm absolutely loving the yellow.
I love it too. And it says Louis on the rear windshield. So I'm gonna be driving this car today.
Righty, we are already out and underway in qualifying. They've been going for...
This is practice.
Oh, we have a practice. Oh, fancy.
Yeah, but they are soon.
Oh, he's gone off. That's big wide. Right, so this is what we're saying with the S's here. If you get one of the S's wrong, all of a sudden you're on the grass and you've lost a load of time, especially entering the S's.
Almost I don't like that.
exactly
ahead.
demonstrating our worries.
Yeah. I don't like the blind chicane on the beginning part of the track, like right after turn one. That can be very dangerous, but also if the car is in good hands, that can be a very good overtaking opportunity as the qualifying starts in half a minute. And it seems moisty, like the weather, or is it just me?
It's a little bit overcloud. I know the weather looked like overcloud and sunny kind of spells, but yeah, it definitely looks muggy out there.
Yeah.
Not very pleasant. Well, you know this championship a lot better than me. What are you expecting for qualifying?
Well, there are very many good one lap pace guys among this field. So it really can be anyone who comes out on top. And I can see that we have a lot of people from the semi-pro category as well. So Tashi, we have Haba, Tamás Túróci here from the previous round. So they have a couple of practice kilometers in their feet and hands. So th- there might be surprises as well because Haba had very good pace in the last race. He also had the fastest lap in the semi-pro, so I'm curious how he fares in the pro category.
Yeah, I can imagine. Even if it's not having those extra practice laps, having that extra few racing laps and seeing where the best opportunities go down the inside, where's the best places to make overtakes, where can we gain time, I think that's going to be their really big aids going into this pro race. That's the advantage they're going to have. But
Yeah,
obviously,
definitely.
yeah, you're going into the pro class of racing. You're going into a GT3, so it's a different speed altogether. Maybe some of those tactics that worked at GT4 aren't going to work here. We might see different corners being approached differently, because it's less about carrying through speed and more about letting the aerodynamics do its work because you've got more of them. So that is going to change the field a bit, but your general racing tactics, that is going to be a big advantage for them.
And also, I would like to highlight Tashi's appearance here because he came third on the previous race on the semi-pros. So I'm very happy for him too. As he's also a member of my team, the HRT Hoba Racing team represent. So I'm very happy that my team also represented in the pro category as with Haba and Tashi as well. Even though
Absolutely.
Tashi is a different colored car, but
Right, well, we've just had a race. Obviously, you were watching over it. At this very track, what tendencies did we see that was happening on the track that we might see in this pro class race as well?
well, too wide is always dangerous in this track, as far we could see, especially here in as we sit with Chokonyai, especially in this part, the final turn, final corner, and the first one is very tricky going too wide, and the most opportunities can emerge just before in the chicane after the long high speed section of the track.
Yeah, well,
So, yeah, a lot of action, basically.
so we're sort of saying the lack of runoff is definitely going to be a killer. If somebody makes a tiny little mistake, it can be really detrimental because of going onto grass immediately.
And also, it's a long race. Don't forget. So, we saw in the previous race also that there was a big incident in maybe lap 2 or 3. The guys in front were involved, and Haba could make such a recovery uh, during the race because it happened. The incident happened so early that he had plenty of time to recover himself and grab that P2 by the end of the race. So
Mm. So if we've got some of the stronger drivers, even if something does go wrong within the first half of this race, they have plenty of time to sort of bring it back. And even if it isn't get into the top podium positions, a good chance of getting back into some really strong places.
Definitely, and also there is strategy involved in this race, unlike the semi-pro category, because here one tire change is mandatory. So we can see some different strategies also evolving during the race.
Yeah, well, we've got all 3 tyre compounds available. We do have the wet tyres, but I don't believe they're going to be used today. So yeah, it could be interesting. We might see some different strategies straight off the bat. Some people might start on different tyres, and this is what is so good about going for a higher level of racing. Once you bring in this tyre strategy, you know, somebody might try and start on the hards and defend to their life's end, and then smash it out on the mediums or a set of softs and the finish to the race. Other people might prefer the early start and try and pick through the field. These are the kind of things, and this is also where we can see the incidents aren't as big of a deal as they might have been, or they're an absolute chaos causer and it completely ruins their strategy. So this is the kind of things we can expect, and this is the kind of chaos we can expect to see. First of all, though, we've still got the rest of qualifying to go through of another sort of 10 minutes or so. So we've still got a little while in qualifying. As of right now, I think most people have set a time. I think below sort of 8th and above have set times so far. So we've still got 3 to go out and get a full lap in. But most people are getting acclimatized to the track pretty nicely.
Nice, Mihaly leads with Pajor in second and Shalda Adi in third place. I cannot scan the track because I'm sitting in the pit lane, so this is a shout out for our broadcaster Baji, who gives us the feed, and also is the league manager of Team Zira.
Yeah, well, he's doing a fantastic job, and we can say that we wholeheartedly appreciate his work. It makes my life so much easier not having to deal with OBS. So to have somebody have to do it for me
Yeah,
is
man.
wonderful.
We're just here to talk and like watch
We
a
are
good race.
just here to talk.
Sunday night, like I don't know, like you know that's our Sunday night chill is served by Baji.
Yeah, well, God, most drivers have got quite a few laps under their belts. We're definitely seeing a lot of people having to come into the pits already, so that is for getting some more fuel in and possibly getting some fresh tyres on. Unlimited tyres, as per in GT7, they can swap to as many set of softs as they like. Ooh, little slip up there from Solder. That might not turn out to be his optimal lap. So we're definitely looking at, in these quali times, by the looks of it, mid 16s, I reckon, possibly even low 16s by the end of qualifying. Who's this? Solder's currently sat at a 116.7 at his fastest time, and the fastest time today so far is a 116.6. So it is a big jump in pace to I was watching the stream earlier. The race pace was kind of sat at 127, 126-ish roughly. So we can see a huge increase in a huge decrease in time for our quali times. And obviously we're driving in GT3 cars as well.
Yeah, that might be the reason.
I think that is the main reason. Plus soft tyres rather than hards, and decreasing fuel at a faster rate. I'd probably say. I'd say that's a faster rate of decreased fuel.
I really don't know. To be honest.
Not a clue. Not a clue. It's probably not best to ask. I'd say that's lots of invalid times. He's coming to the pit lane there, hasn't he? Penalties are very applicable and they will occur, don't you worry.
Yeah, the penalty zone is on the main straight though. So
is it? Oh god, that's a killer.
Yes, and it can be quite. Well, I mean, if it's only half a second, then it can be manageable without a huge loss, even though it's gonna be a loss. But anything above half a second is gonna be very costly for the drivers.
See, that is the one thing about GT7's penalty system I just don't get. You get a half a second penalty, and the car behind you gains by about like 4 or 5 seconds, and you're like,
Yeah.
how is that fair? I've lost nearly 5 seconds in this race for a half a second penalty. But it is what it is, and that is what the drivers have to face. They're fully aware of it, so they will be doing their best, especially around a track like this, where that penalty is going to lose them so much time, to really close down that gap. What was that? That was nearly a quarter of a second quicker for our fastest man as of right now. He's only got one more corner to go as he comes round the final turn. Let's see, it's going to be a 1:16.3, so faster than we were expecting. And he's gone very significantly quicker to put his fastest time down. So he does take provisional pole as of right now.
4:20 in front of Shadadi, so
Yeah, big jump.
the bar is high.
The bar is high. The bar is very high. That's a very, very good starting time. Has definitely put down a precedent. He's here, and he's here for a win.
Yeah, and I think Michaelides can win the championship if he wins this race. Am I right, Baji? Just nod if you can hear me, and if I'm right.
I'm taking a win here today.
I can see Baji is nodding. Choknyai in the meanwhile improves
taking
a lot.
win here. Yeah, taking a win here today would be an astronomical advantage, especially if. Oh my god, my mind's gone blank.
I think it's 17 points between Marco and Michaelides. And
yeah, 17. So if Marco picks up P2, that's 18 points. So that's still another 2. That's still another 7-point gap. So add on to that, 17 add 7 is what, 24? Not quite.
So it's gonna be an exciting. And
so Marco, if Mate wins today, then Marco has to come second. And then the next race, he has to win, and Mate has to get no points in. So it's almost dead set, but
not quite. Mathematically,
it's unlikely. Yeah. And I haven't factored in fastest lap as well. So that could change the ball game a little bit.
Choknyai further improves. Now he's sitting in second, overtaking Shalda Adi. Shalda Adi is like Padawan of Choknyai. Choknyai is training Shalda Adi quite a lot, as far as I know. So
yeah,
it's nice to see Adi so close to Choknyai.
The one that puts in the training will be the one that seeps the rewards. And that is clearly on display as of right now. We haven't got long left of qualifying. It's a 15-minute qualifying session we have, correct?
I think so.
Meaning we have 2 minutes to go.
It's too dangerous to ask me such questions.
We've got, I believe, 2 minutes of qualifying remaining, which means pretty much all the drivers have got one more lap, pretty much. Some might. Everyone will make one more lap. And no one's in the pit lane, so we got one more lap of racing to go. See who can set the fastest times.
Marco improves.
Yes, Sauda does improve, and that has just put Marco a significant disadvantage to his closest rival. He's going to have to really turn up the pace here today. as all the way down Tassi, 2.3 off of the pace of the leader is a big jump down in speed. He is improving, but it's marginally, half a tenth of a second through sector, through the final sector through sector 2 into sector 3 now. Coming across the line, he will be the last man to come across the line, I'm pretty certain, before the time finishes. It is an improvement. It's not quite enough to get himself up to P9, but he will be closing that gap, and he has got one more lap to try and close this down. The drivers are now coming down the back straight. They might just about sneak in another lap. I'm not too sure. This is going to be incredibly close as to whether they manage to get another lap. I think they might just, but it's tight. It's so unbelievably tight as they do indeed come through the final few corners now. I think they are just about going to
There
sneak
is
another lap in.
15 seconds left of the
15
qualifying.
seconds remaining, and they managed to sneak in another lap. And I think they almost kind of planned that in the knowledge that he was nearly half a second down on his time as he came across. So I think that is now indeed everyone
Yes,
on their laps.
exactly.
There it is. Whoa, that's scary. Oh my God. I was just on board with Marco as he was driving about, 120, 130 mile an hour straight into the front of another car. That was terrifying for me. I don't know how Marco dealt with that. Coming over the crest and there's just a BMW there. That is unbelievable reaction time from him as he's managed to save his lap.
That was very close. Not something you want to see going uphill.
Oh, big bit of oversteer. Okay, so that's what caused him to be the wrong way round, and Marco narrowly missing him, so he just got a big whack of oversteer going up the hill. So that is his. I think that's his laps over. His front bumper is still damaged. So yeah, that will be him done for this quali session. He won't put another lap in. Who's next through? I think it's Saudi we're on board with. Sauda, sorry. Coming through the chicane, holds it nicely. It's a decent exit. Now heading towards the final corner, swoops through. Oh God, he's really down on his time actually. 1:37. He must have had an incident. Either way, who have we got through next? So that's Pager. Not setting another time. Mate's not setting another time. He's done. I'm pretty certain. If that's the case, everybody has. Everyone's done. Everyone's set their times.
Exciting qualification session.
Indeed, it was.
In the end, they got close to Michaelides. We thought that half a second gap is a bar way too high. It turned out to be high, but not that way too high, because 0.2 of a second is reasonable.
Yeah, it's manageable. It's still a very strong qualifying for Mate, but it is not anywhere near the gap that it was. Otherwise, that would have been total domination. Marco isn't quite up to the mark of which he needs to be this race. This is a race where it is so crucial for him to do well, and he's currently not displaying it. Especially with Mate's confidence in qualifying. Hopefully, Race Pace can turn it around and keep this championship alive. If not, we might see a winner here today. As we wait for the final 10 seconds of qualifying to finish, as all the drivers just take it around nice and slowly. 3, 2, 1. There we go. That is qualifying over, and the race shall begin shortly.
I hope I don't mess up with my controller.
Well, there you go. It was a 1:16.3 to beat at the end there with what's that? Just shy of 0.3 for a name. I'm not even going to try. That surname scares me. Do you have any idea how to pronounce the AP2?
Bertalan Csoknyai. We call him Csoki.
Chocky. Right, I can manage Chocky. I'm an Englishman. I can't do pronunciations. Um,
I'm always here to help. Don't worry.
yeah, Peugeot in P3, just try 4 tenths down, and Salda in P4. Then Marco, then
Panya,
Panya.
Panya,
We'll go with Panya. And then
Kolos, Hodruski,
Hodorowski. Right, okay. Hodorowski in P7.
and
That's not a name.
Shunes.
Shunez in P8.
So
Chorozki.
my ambience is my daughter in the back, so maybe you can hear her.
Tassie in P10, and then obviously P11 is the safety car, so nothing much to worry about. Here we go. We're getting ready to start today. As Louis is leading us off with the safety car, you can talk us through one lap of the track as you indeed go round.
Alright, so here is turn one, which I really hate. It's a very tricky, and you have to be really committed in this corner because it's a high speed uh, right turn uphill with a blind chicane on top of it. So, which is also a very good overtaking opportunity, and then we coming through the S's, the very famous S's, down the hill. Also, I think there is only one line here, so if you are not on the ideal line, you're screwed by the end of the downhill, because it ends in a very fast sweeping left. Sorry, it's my daughter. She's so cute. Then two very narrow, almost 90 degrees right-handers uh, uh, turn us onto the main straight, as I almost throw the car onto the grass. And I'm trying to pull away. Baji, talk to me. Baji, talk to me. When should I pull? Okay, thank you. So I'm going in. I'm leaving the field behind, as nearing through the braking distance for the chicane, somewhere around, oh, maybe a bit sooner than, than the third board on the right side, as I'm heading into the pit.
Alrighty, now we get ready.
Okay. So, and also I'm gonna be the person waving the green flag, which I'm gonna do just,
Coming round
just,
the final
just,
corner.
just now, and we should be off.
We are indeed. We are away. Mate hasn't had the best of starts. He has got all the drivers right behind him. It's going to be very close and swoops through Kosnay. Gets himself up into first place with an absolutely amazing move down the inside. Fair play to him. As a little bit of contact there through the S's. By I think Paco and the car behind Sauda made a little bit of contact through the S's, but they are through. Nothing too much to be concerned about there. Everybody through, nicely done. No major incidents. No one going widely off track or anything. And I think we got too wide here. Battle for P6. He's gonna swoop it down the inside. Is he going to make it? It's going to be three. He's going to... Oh, God, Jesus Christ. A little bit of a push through there. But he has managed to get himself through. Hodorowski gets himself up to P6 as we're continuing this battle now only for P7. That's absolutely
is in the lead.
flying. Yeah, oh
Have we
yeah.
missed you?
Oh no, he went through on. We went through turn one.
Ah, okay. So I just missed it. Sorry.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, the field already beginning to spread out a little bit as each driver gets themselves comfortably into position. looking slightly further up front, and I believe it's pretty much the same story. We've got a couple of cars, and what's happening here? Let's take a little look back at the race start once again. So Mate got a pretty decent start, but then into the slipstream he went, got the inside line, a move made at turn 1. It's an absolutely lovely little
Ah,
move.
yeah.
And gets
Thank you,
himself
Baji, for showing me what I missed.
nicely into the lead of the race.
And Marco is battling. Who is it? It's Shaldo Adi who is battling with Marco for P4, and for the time being, it seems Adi hangs on to the 4th position.
Alrighty, well, replay over, and yeah, oh god, that's really close between the two. Rewatching the start once again, so we'll jump back to that in just a moment's time as we see another brilliant move through the inside. Yeah, it's an absolutely wonderful move. Nice switch back down the straight. Unfortunate for his teammate who lost a couple of positions, and I think having some slight technical difficulties as of right now. We will be jumping straight back in sharpish as Sauda's fallen down to P5, and Marco made his gain that position. He's up 1, but he has got a bit of a gap to the drivers in front. 1.5 seconds. He'll have to close that down over the next couple of laps, but with the fastest sector time there, he is looking in a rather strong position as of right now. He's gained 2/10 already. Expect that to be more.
And Michaelides is not losing Chucky, so he's still around that 1 second gap, and it's not moving. And Pyor is holding very tight. And P3 improving this lap also. Great stuff from all of these drivers.
Yeah, indeed. Well, most drivers are still very comfortably. Their tyres are looking pretty strong. Noticing we're currently on board with Sauda. He started on the softs, so looking for that competitive advantage at the very start of the race. And tyres aren't looking too bad at the moment. We are currently on lap 5 of 48, so we have had a fair chunk of this race take place already, and we're not seeing too much wear on the tyres or the fuel, so it's going to be a good while until we see much strategy come into place as Mate is trying to close down. It's 0.6 of a second between him and the leader of the race, but it is very plausible. A good straight, a good bit of slipstream will get him closed down, but that's going to require a very good exit. And well, the competitiveness of both of these drivers means he's going to have to pull off one hell of a move.
Like Tashi already pitted because he had damage already. We might have probably missed it, and he also got a 3-second penalty for crossing the pit exit line, probably. Too bad for Tashi, who did really great on the previous race. And it's only him and Tamás Túróci Haba who are on the medium tires, and the rest of the field is all wearing softs. So that's a thing to watch out for.
It's always a bit of frustration if that's the case, but it's always possible. You can still come back from a penalty. I know it's very detrimental, especially in GT, but it is possible with a good bit of race pace and especially clean air. You haven't got a driver in front of you, haven't got somebody behind trying to get past. You can just take optimal lines every single corner, get good clean runs. It's not impossible, to say the very least, but nevertheless it is going to be a bit of a task to come back. Looking at Marco at the moment, he currently sits P4 still. He's got a second in front and 0.3 behind. So definitely probably going to be in a more defensive mood as of right now. As Sauda getting very close to the chicane before, slightly backing off now. I'm going to say it's rather confusing. The optimal line here involves going over the pit lane entry. So you have absolutely no idea whether they're going to go for it or not until the very moment. Obviously, that's not too much of an issue now, but I can imagine, especially as we get into the area where pit and tyre degradation and fuel is becoming a part of a problem, I can definitely see that causing a bit of chaos and definitely some people trying to fake a move into the pit lane to force their opponents to go onto a worse strategy. Nevertheless, a great running through here by Sauda, just watching his front with Marco just in front of him. And yeah, just following him perfectly through these corners, making the most of those exits the best he can, getting right on those. And he's getting so close to the back of Marco in some of these corners before then just losing a little bit on exit. I think if he can get a slightly better exit in some of these corners, he's definitely in with a shot of going for that position.
He had a purple lap on the last lap, and I'm really curious about this lap, but he's only 1/10 of a second slower than last lap as he makes a move on Marco. Marco closes the door.
Yeah, it wasn't quite to be that time round. I think he's going to have to go for a slightly better opportunity, work up slightly longer. It doesn't have to be much, don't get me wrong, but just having that little bit of extra gap, that little less distance between you can really be the big difference between these kinds of situations. Going for a move like that is something you have to be cautious about. Mate as well, looking slightly further ahead. He's currently 8/10 off of the back of the lead of the race. So he's slightly lost a bit of time, but it's not too bad. He can definitely claw this back. He is driving at his current fastest pace, almost looking on for a 1:17.1 as of right now, ever so slightly marginally quicker than Sauda, actually, if he goes and puts this time in. So he's definitely got the pace about him. He definitely wants to get this move done sharpish. It's just a matter of whether he can close that gap and get that move done.
No, and in the meanwhile, they are just stealing the distance to Payor in front of them. Like, I mean, in front of Marco and Shada Adi. They are below 1 second now to Payor, so they should really work together in this case, because there is a chance for podium for both of them.
Yeah, well, at least one podium slot has been opened up because the gap between Pejo and Mate is about, 2.5 seconds. So the front two boys are running away with it a little bit at the moment, but we've definitely got a good fight for P3 emerging, as Pejo is not quite up to the pace of these two drivers behind, who are pretty much pushing each other to the absolute maximum. As a little mistake there by Marco goes a little bit wide. Is that going to be too
That's a
detrimental to him?
penalty.
Oh,
Marco
no.
got a penalty, half a second penalty for that. So
That's going to be massively detrimental for him. He's going to be forced to slow down within the next few moments. Is he going to get forced to do it this lap, or is it going to be next lap that he has to do it? It is here. He does do it, and Sauda does take that position because of it. So running ever so slightly wide, whilst that may not have lost him position, the time penalty certainly did, and now nearly a second off of the back of Sauda. He's got some catching up to do.
yeah, just what we talked about before the race. And even though if half a second, and by the end of the straight, it seems like an eternity. If you have to take a penalty there on the main straight. In the meanwhile, Michalidas is closing in on Chokonyai on P1 and 2. It's half a second between them. And it's
These two
decreasing.
definitely. That gap
Michalidas on a
is
purple
closing.
lap.
Yeah, he's on it. He's really on it. He is making the most of every single corner he can do. He's only lap 8. That lap I was talking about being rather fast. It was rather fast indeed. It was just over, 1/100th of a second slower than our fastest time so far by Sauda. So he's on a mission. well and truly. He wants to close this gap down as physically much as possible. He is doing so rather well. But this last half a second is without a doubt the hardest, because getting that close to the car, you get mixed in its bad aerodynamics, and all of a sudden you're going through a corner and you've only got about 70% of your aerodynamic force than you usually do.
Mm.
It is difficult to close that gap. So definitely being close before that main straight, and I think Matty might have a chance here.
And as I'm scanning through the field, Adi is closing in on Pajor as well, by about the same distance as Michaelides and Csokonyai has in between them. And Marco is not that far off, so it's, even though with the penalties, this match has not been written off yet between Shada and Marco.
No, he's definitely closed the gap nicely. Down to a pretty reasonable 0.8 of a second. He can definitely close it a little bit more to catch up to Sauder and then hopefully make a move. I feel like they're going to get stuck in a little bit of a slipstream train here.
First
The
place,
three of them.
Bashi, first place.
Mate is looking so very close, isn't he? He does have a little look down the inside. Alexa against it at the chicane, but that is without a doubt the closest he's been so far. Sub 0.3 of a second, and he's following nicely through here. It's a 1/4 of a second gap between the two. Is there going to be a move into turn one? Is the leader going to swap defensive? No, he's not. He's going to stay behind, interestingly enough. He was very close indeed, about just shy of 0.2. That was really, really close between the two of them, and he's elected against it, hoping for a better move into the chicane next lap, I imagine. Nevertheless, he is continuing to put on an assault. He is staying right on the back of Skrosny and really putting the pressure on completely. He's pretty much glued to the gearbox of that BMW. Is he going to be able to make a move at any point? He's literally touching the back of it as they go through the two corners and now onto the straight with Slipstream, and pretty much the longest straight known to mankind. Can he finally get this move done? He goes to the outside of the corner, but he'll have the inside on the second half of the chicane. They are going side by side now. It's a slight advantage for Mate into the corner, but Krosny is going to get the better of him and stay in the lead of the race. So it was a brief moment of glory for Mate, but it's not quite to be as of right now as he comes into the pits.
That was nice defense by Choki. I don't know if it was the best idea from Michaelides to start the chicane from the outside, but maybe that's just how he managed to position himself.
Yeah, either way, he's decided to pit. He's one of the first people to pit today on the basis that that front left tyre, pretty much across the board, is shot to pieces by now. Pretty much everybody's on those racing softs, so it is a little bit hellish. The right-hand side of the car is looking really strong, which shows you the emphasis on right-hand turns in this course. As those left tyres are significantly more degraded than the right. Pretty much everybody, as I think Sauder is going to get the opportunity here to go for a move once again, placing himself on the outside of the driver. Marco will have the inside line here in defence. Can he get the run he needs? He is a lot further back. Does get better on the brakes. Can he keep it in? Yes, he can. Marco defends lovely with a dive bomb to get himself back into Sauder gets himself back into P3.
Yeah, because Michaelides pitted.
Yes.
I was confused for a moment.
Yeah, I was a bit.
2, 3, 4. But look at Marco in the back of this trio. Like he already worked his penalty back.
Yeah, he's clawed it back nicely, hasn't he? And is in quite a good position actually to start attacking Sauder.
Yeah. Sauder has the slipstream as a defense from Pajor in front of him. Especially now, it's gonna be critical in this long main straight, where they are heading now.
Yeah, well,
Well,
expect these gaps to
did
keep
something happen
closing.
to Chucky? Chucky is so slow here. Look, they all caught up to Chucky. They are 2 seconds from him.
I've got absolutely no idea whether he's made a mistake or not outside of the corner. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, big time loss for Chucky. As don't get me wrong, he's still significantly further ahead. But I mean,
He's
look at
pitting
that.
now.
Yeah, he's pitting. Unsurprisingly, look at that front left tire. It is struggling. I'm surprised some of the other drivers aren't also going for that move. They're pretty much going to drive these tires till they burst. As Pajo is defending nicely from Sauda. Interestingly enough, Marco is off of the pace a little bit. I think he's fallen back behind slightly. He's not too far behind, I don't think. But
Mm.
taking a little look. Oh, here we go. Here comes Mate through the first corner. They're going to come out pretty much side by side. Mate retakes the lead
Mm.
on the earlier pit strategy. He's made the most of the undercut and has made that move look spectacular. So Mate up into P7 as Chocky is in P8. But remembering that all the drivers in front are yet to pit. Oh, what happens to Mate there? I think he makes a little bit of contact with Tarowski. Does keep himself going in a straight line. No damage acquired for now, so that's not too much of a stress for him. But what will be is trying to get past Tarowski as quickly as he physically can.
And don't forget, Turotsi is still on the medium tires, which he had started on. So, and Michaelides is on race temperature new softs. So, I think, and Baji, tell me if I'm right, that even though there is a mandatory pit stop, the tires don't have to be different, right? So like you can make two stops for the softs for the race. Okay. So there is no mandatory type of tire for the race, so you can go all softs. So I wonder if the medium strategy works out for Turozzi, who is the sole medium driver on the field now. Oh no, Tashi is also on mediums, but he's way back on the field.
Yeah, I'm kind of guessing if you're going to go on those medium tyres, you can reduce it down to a one-stop strategy. Whereas if you go for a triple soft, estimating that well these drivers have waited till lap 15, give that 3 stints, it's 45 laps. So in theory, if you're going to do softs, it's going to be a two-stopper. So that is the benefit of going onto those medium tyres. You're probably going to make the one-stop strategy work. Additionally, though, you have the problem of all of a sudden, hang on a minute, I'm being overtaken by absolutely everybody here. Am I gaining enough time by not doing a pit stop that actually I'm losing by being on these medium tires? Is the risk people are going to take? Is some people might have quite a strong race pace, so they'll go for a set of softs. Some people might not have quite as good, but they are a good defender. Maybe try and get themselves in front on those medium once everybody pits onto the softs. Slow them down by defending for your life, and then hop onto softs when they're all worn out. Is perfectly an option as well. Well, Mate is closing back up onto the lead. We've only got 2 drivers now left to pit, Marco and Sunez.
Shunes, yeah. Shunes has no existential left front tires at this point. Marco is
Oh my
surprisingly
god.
still has some tire on that on the wheel. Not a lot, but but maybe one more lap can manage.
Yeah, I think we can definitely tell which tyre is going to be the problematic tyre here today.
It seems
Yeah,
softs can go for like 18 if you are taking care of them. Look at Marco. He's doing 18, 19 laps on the softs. So I'm counting. I'm trying to count, but I'm really bad at counting. So So 2 stints would be 36.
Yeah,
And
which would still require you one more stint
yeah,
on the softs.
yeah.
So yeah, it's an ask to go for those softs because you have to gain back that time that you have lost in the pit lane. But if you are, if your qualifying pace was really strong, then doing lap after lap after lap on sort of set of soft tires isn't going to be that different for you. It's basically just going to be doing a multitude of quali laps. So
Mm, yeah. And look at
if that's
Turozzi on P3. He's still running on mediums and holding Choknyai and Payor back from Mihalidas. And this is terrible for Choki and for Payor as well, because they cannot run the times with the softs because Turozzi won't stop for long, for at least, if he wants to make the one stop viable, he needs to drive 12 more laps from here at least on the mediums.
how are those tires looking?
But they are around halfway, so the mediums
Okay,
are
so
very
it's
lasting.
viable. Think about it, is 19 laps taken so far. He needs to do another 12 and he's on about 50%. It's very possible to go for that one stop
Yeah,
on those medium tyres, and especially as I say, if he's holding up everybody else, all of a sudden he can then just slot onto those softs. Even when everybody else has had to pit, he hasn't had to go through that pit lane procedure. Only thing is now he has got to defend for his life over this
yeah,
next
and
soft
look
spin.
at all these mean-looking BMWs behind him,
Yeah, an all
Chokney
big
and
move there by Sauder, gets himself up into P5, overtaking his teammate Jockey, who falls down the positions, isn't having the kind of race, the second half of the race that he probably wished he did. Currently fighting his teammate, is doing pretty decently, might try and go back here down into the chicane. He's going to have the inside line. Can he get it done? No, he can't. He slots in. So, a bit worrying for him that he's lost another position. As Marco finally decides to pit.
that was a great long stint on the softs. And
And
Chokney and
Chalky into the pit lane. I can imagine maybe for Chalky, I wouldn't be. Oh, he's picked up a three. Oh no, Marco, 3 second time penalty. What
oh,
happened
that's a
there?
disaster.
That's an
That's
absolute
a lot.
nightmare kind of penalty. I mean, that is talking 6-7 seconds possibly lost. Is ridiculous. Well, it's a
Shadadi finally
what's
overtakes
going on
Turozzi.
here? Otrosky getting a little bit pushed wide there, maybe by Saudi. There wasn't loads of space given there. I'm not 100% sure who's at fault or whether there was anybody at fault here. But look at this. Tarski had the lead position. He then eventually goes wide to defend. There
Mm,
is maybe just about enough space there for him, but it's very close, isn't it?
yeah, and Shadadi was out of, what's the word, patience, probably by that point. But I really did not see any contact. So maybe it was just
Yeah.
the lag bubble.
Yes, very likely. Right, well, we've still got a fair amount of this race to go. We're nearly coming up on halfway, a couple more laps until that point. Our average lap is looking around about a 1 minute 18 as of right now for Sauder in particular, who's currently slightly down on that time, but it is awfully quiet out on track at the moment. Most people are quite separated from each other. For example,
Chucky,
here's Sauder.
Chucky is on mediums.
That doesn't surprise me, considering how many
Mm,
laps we've got left and the fact that he pitted early. I thought, no, if you go for another set of softs, then you're going to have to pit again, and you're not going to make the most of it. And all of a sudden, you're doing
mm,
3 stops. So it makes sense that he's gone on to the mediums. I don't really know why he did it. Maybe it was damage related. But it's unsurprising he's gone onto those medium set of tyres when you look at the situation and when he decided to pit. But still, an interesting move, nevertheless. And he's going to have to pretty much work a miracle here if he wants to gather much out of this race. He is moderately close to the back of everybody else, so it's not a massive gap, but it is still going to be a big ask considering he's going to be on mediums and everyone else is going to be on softs.
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder if he made a mistake in the first stop, because the second stop came very soon after the first one. It looked like he didn't even change tires, or I don't know. It's been a while, and I cannot go back on the lap times anymore. But he's really far off from Mihalidas. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm calculating this much, because something must have happened to Choknoi, because he was right behind Mihalidas, and now there are 7 positions separating them.
Yeah, it's there is quite significant gaps between pretty much everybody at the moment. Marco here, 8/10 separates him and Horoski, who's actually getting closed down at the moment. That's now already 7/10 of a second here, and I think we could have a bit of a fight in our hands between Marco and Hudorowski as he does get closer and closer through the S's. As Chocky is currently down in P8, he's got 17 seconds to the driver in front. A big margin for him to try and regain, but will definitely be done in the pit lane, if anything. And yeah, definitely, it's a lot more open as of right now. So I feel like most changes in positions are now going to come down to mistakes, because most drivers are really settled into this track. I feel like we only really have one battle going on at the moment, and that is the battle for P5, I believe. Between Marco and Hudorowski, 0.3 of a second. Oh, we've got another participant here. So it's a battle for P4. We've got a nice 3-way fight going on here. Lovely stuff. Currently, nothing too much going on, but it was slightly wide. No moves to be made into turn 1, but Marco looking very pacey. He's desperate to get past these two. Has closed down Hudorowski very quickly, and Turowski as well. And this is going to get feisty any minute now. So they leave the S's and head towards the double right-handers. And oh, that's a big mistake there by Hudorowski, who gets slightly oversteery over the hill and loses that place. What happened to him? As here we go, he goes up the left-hander and just going over the hill. Yeah, the car just breaks from him. The rear of the car just breaks loose ever so slightly, and that loses him the place to Marco.
What's he holding up again? These two on the still on the mediums.
It's an impressive run for him at the moment. These medium
I mean,
tyres.
he's not going bad lap times either.
No.
It's not that
Interestingly, I think, is this the moment he's coming into the pits? Yes, it is. So halfway through this race, on the dot, as we move on to lap 25 of 48, he eventually elects to pit onto what I can only imagine will be possibly a set of softs or maybe another set of mediums.
Probably it's gonna be mediums again.
Yeah.
We will only see when he exits. And yeah, it is mediums, it seems.
Right, well, our fight for P3... our fight for P4 is beginning to dial out a little bit as Marco obviously managed to get himself past Hodorowski and the other driver came into the pits. So he is beginning to pull away slightly. What's that, 5/6 of a second nearly, as we now go down the main straight. And I think with pretty much that fight over, we are very, very quiet indeed. By the looks of it, I think that Sauder and Pajor are also rather close to one another, but there's still a little bit of a gap between those two. Most drivers, interestingly enough, what's that? Marco is looking quite challenged on fuel as it is right now. He's got about just shy of half a tank left. He might just make it. He might have to conserve for a couple of laps. But he might just go a little splash and dash right on the second or his final pit stop. Little splash and dash so he doesn't have to go into the pit lane, as I've got a spreadsheet in front of me.
Yeah, Baji, we need no spreadsheet. We won the race. Thanks. Almost. Baji, please. Okay, this is the live, what's that called? You can see these kind of info on
this
Formula.
is
Live standings.
the live standings as it is right now. So a gap of 30 means Mate wins the championship here today. So as it stands, yeah, a 30-point gap between the two drivers. So right now, essentially, Marco needs to hurry up. In Simpleman's terms, if he will. Okay, so for all those in here, we've just had it in our ear that the final race is 150%, which also means 150% points, which actually means that unlike the usual 26 available points, there's actually 38 available points next race, meaning that Marco is still within a shout. He currently, if it ends like this, he's still within shout of what, by 8 points, because the maximum he can get is 38. The gap is currently 30, so he would have to pick up a significant points advantage over Mate. If Mate scored more than 8 points next race, then that would be it. That would be it finished. But that means, as it stands right now, the championship is not over yet. So long as Marco stays within 38 points, he is still in this championship fight. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be a big ask, but it's very possible indeed. Right, well, it is rather awfully quiet out on track at the moment. We need a bit of action on it. We need one of these drivers to just absolutely go for a move.
Yeah, but it's getting dark also, so the changing conditions is something to deal with all of them. I imagine it's getting colder as well. But
yeah, that could be a. Oh, who's that? That's Tarosky off the track. He's currently, I don't know what on earth happened there. It's through the S's, I believe. But there we go. He's getting himself back underway once again. Here's a quick replay of what happened. He got slightly too wide going into the S's and found himself mowing the grass, which isn't exactly ideal. He is back underway,
yeah,
but 1minute and 24 seconds down on the leader, meaning he
with
has
damage.
in fact been lapped and with damage. It's not looking like his day, is it?
Yeah, it turns out mediums were not. Even though if it were a good strategy, we will not know anymore, because of this mistake of Abba.
Yeah, it is a shame to see, but that is life. Is and well, there's not exactly much to report on at the moment, is there? Most drivers are very spread out. Big gaps at the moment. Mate has got a near 15-second lead at the moment to Pajor, who's currently leading Sauda by 2 seconds, and then a rather large gap over to Marco. And then it is, yeah, it's looking very, very open at the moment. Car in the pits, I imagine that is oh god,
Tashi,
what's his name? Trotsky,
ah,
yeah.
and also Tashi, but he's not gonna leave the pit. There must be some technical issues with him, but at least he's not exiting the lobby. He waits
Oh,
in the pit.
that's always good. Righty. Well, we are currently on lap 30 of 48, so 19 laps, including this, remaining to go. So we've got still a significant more racing to go. But as of right now, all the positions are looking pretty dead set. Wouldn't you agree? As Pajor, by the
Yeah,
looks of it, has got rather struggling tyres. So maybe this final soft stint is coming up soon.
it is, and Michaelis's tires are also wearing off quite quickly, so I imagine within 1 or 2 laps everybody is gonna pit from the softs. And it's about time if we calculate it correctly on this 17, 18 laps for the final stint of a soft tire with not a lot of fuel. Probably will be the fastest stint of them all.
Well, it is. Yeah, we could possibly get a fastest lap out of it. It would be nice to see. It's a 1:16.7. It's currently sat at, as Mate does indeed hold it as it stands. Um, Championship isn't looking massively effective at the moment, other than Mate gets himself in a really strong position to win the championship next week. But Marco is indeed still in a position where he can stay within this championship. So it's pretty much all to lose for him as of right now, as Mate does indeed come into the pits. He's got 29% left in fuel. Interesting enough, Pajor also coming into the pit lane. So they're both stopping for their soft tyres at the same time with roughly equal levels of fuel. As Sauda inherits the lead because of this. He'll be nice running for a little while, but Mate's significant advantage in pace will probably mean that he will take over in the not too distant future. Looking at slightly more of the championship, Pajor is the man sitting behind these at the moment. He's currently sat on 72 points, as Kosney is sat a point below. So that could be a really good fight going into the final race of the season. There's pretty much whoever finishes on top wins, as Sauda's currently got a half a second penalty that he will be taking down this straight, which is going to be a significant loss for him, considering the fact that Mate is just literally right on the back of them. So he might even get this move made before Sauda even comes into the pits.
Look at Marco, he's right behind Michaelis on the track, and Marco is on an offset tire strategy. He still has his softs, but they are around 50% now. So I don't know if he can manage to hold these tires out till the end of the race. If he can minimize the loss towards Michaelis, because right now he's behind him on track.
It's a big ask, isn't it? I mean, half tyres on what, another 16 laps, and we saw
Yeah.
16 laps pretty much when everybody wanted to pit. So it's going to be a huge ask for Marco if he wants to try and do that. Personally, I think it's probably wiser to whack on softs sooner rather than later. A bit of damage limitation, then you have good sets of soft tyres running for a little bit longer time. Don't want to overrun these tyres and then not get the most out of the next set. Um, so I don't know, maybe within the next
Interesting.
couple of laps would be wise for Marco to get onto that change of tyre, as he will be losing a little bit of time as it stands to Pahor, because obviously he's on those significantly more degraded tyres. And it will be interesting to see how this plays out and whether he can gain enough time to catch up to Pahor and Sauda and get a move done.
Shout out
Yeah.
to our viewers in the chat on Twitch. Shout out to Shriznitsin and Juka and Hajdu Boglar. Welcome to the chat. Please like and subscribe and follow us on our social medias.
Yeah, we can see the chat. I've got my Twitch open. The slight issue is that so far the vast majority of it has been in a language that I don't understand. I'm very much an only English kind of person, so the words you've been saying make no sense to me. I'll be honest. The English, I get that though. So if you talk in English, I'm more than happy to talk back. But that's my slight problem.
That's Carter's kryptonite. Hungarian.
Yes, foreign language. That's my kryptonite.
So please, guys, keep it in English in the chat. And phonetic English is not English, like what we did talk so far. As we head into lap 35. Depends on who we are watching. Race.
Whilst it's not technically English, I do understand what the word vamos means. So, yeah, vamos. Vamos, my friend, vamos. I'm not a Spaniard, but I did have to put up with learning some Spanish. It's quite boring. Right, so there you go. That's Cisnes on to his final stint. A quick splash and dash as well. He's picking up some fuel to try and make it to the end of the race. He won't want any more than he needs. So leaving on just shy of what's that, just over a quarter of a tank remaining. So interestingly enough for him, he's gone on to a set of softs to finish off this race. He's currently sat in P8, and I don't believe he's going to lose any more positions on pit exit. No, he's not. And a 3-second time penalty for him, leaving the pit lane. So I don't know whether that's maybe an issue with the pit lane exit, or whether that is just, unfortunately, he has crossed over. But I'm pretty certain that is a 3-second time penalty for crossing over the pit lane exit that he is now going to have to serve. And I think that is going to maybe let Mate through, who's currently right behind him.
It might be the pit entry too, because you only get the penalty when you exit. So you don't know if you cross the line on the entry.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point as well. You can see how much I do competitive GT7 racing.
I'm not doing much more, don't you think so? But I know this track because I had some league racing here as well,
Yeah.
and that was always tricky. The pit entry and the pit exit on this track is very tricky, as you mentioned, especially the entry part, because the racing line is going through the pit entry, so it's very hard to keep within the dotted line.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Mate is currently sat still in the lead of the race, unsurprisingly, at 6.3 seconds of a gap back to Marco. So he has got a pretty decent gap. Can you talk about what happened at the French race? What French race?
Uh, I don't know a lot about it because I was just talking with the guys. So the Zira team as a whole, Baji, Choki, Mata King, who is viewing us. Hi, Mate. Uh, who else was there? It was Spicy and Duka, of course. So I wanted to name them all because it would be rude if I miss somebody else. So they took part in an offline race in France, in the French
Oh,
tour,
fancy.
uh, and I would like to tell how they finished, but I don't remember. Maybe they became last. Baji, please
Oh,
help me out.
it's not to worry because they've got a vlog video coming out soon, apparently
Uh-huh.
according to Matakin, where they will share everything about it. So just be patient is the words from Matakin. So hopefully that will be releasing
There you go
at a
then.
later date, but that will be really interesting to watch and see how they got on for anybody that was unable to see it. So quickly coming back to this race, we've now got 10 laps to go as Marco is still out there on those soft tyres. It is, though, I imagine it's going to be a matter of laps as to when he finally decides to come in, as getting a little bit leery out of that corner onto the back straight. Yeah, pretty much everybody's very, very spread out as it's been for the last sort of 10 laps or so.
Marco's gonna give himself a rush for the last stint if he pits. If he would pit now, then maybe he would have a chance to fight back towards
Uh,
Adi and Payor. I can't remember how long was the pit stop, but it wasn't that long. So it's 9 seconds, 8 seconds between Payor and Marco now, but Marco goes for another full lap. I wonder how much time he loses in this lap because chances are slim that he will be able to catch up after a pit stop now. 10 laps left from the race.
Yeah, it's a big, big ask, isn't it? Currently on board with Sauda. He's a pretty spread from everybody. And additionally here is this Payahan. Currently in P7, and he's got, by the looks of it, Mate just behind him. So blue flags will be waving soon to let Mate through. I feel like he's getting all too used to this as he's now lapped P7, or at least he's coming up to it. And he's currently on track for the fastest lap of the race. Only just, but he is currently on track for it. He'll actually be wanting almost to use this driver as just good slipstream as he now goes through the final corner and might get ever so slightly the way here, possibly impede his lap. But it's not to worry. He goes round the outside and he does take the fastest lap. Only just, though. It's now a 1:16.708. Mate holds the fastest lap, which is a nice little extra point for him. Alrighty, well, Marco is going for another lap on these tyres, so it's going to be. I almost think at this point he's
Me too.
he's staying out. Is he
Me
going to
too.
stay
Me
out?
too. I think so too. Yeah. It seems like that.
I feel like at this point he would have come in by now.
Yeah. I mean, it makes no sense sitting now. It's only 8 laps left.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
Payor is closing in.
Have you seen that rear left tyre?
Yeah.
8 laps on that.
What
don't know how
tire?
he's gonna do it.
There is nothing there.
There isn't a tyre. There's just a smidge of white at the bottom of it. It's just all red. I mean, no wonder he's struggling through some of the corners, getting that rear end a little bit loose. I mean, when you don't have one of your tyres attached, causes a bit of problems.
Well,
I mean, look at
not ideal at least.
It's ridiculous. Through 2 sectors as well, he's lost 1.4 seconds from the fastest time. So he's definitely struggling, to say the very least.
Not only that,
Thing
but
is,
he lost half a second to Poyor also, who is following
if he
him.
loses, if he loses a second a lap, he will still stay P3, because if you think about it, Sauda's 8 seconds behind Pahor. Pahor's 4 seconds to Marco, so there's a 12-second gap between Marco and Sauda. So he might still get a podium place here. But the thing is that tyre degradation means that he's just going to be slower and slower every single
Yeah.
lap. And now with night fading as well, the track's going to be colder. Which means that those tyres are going to be worse off anyway. And then the fact that they're that worn is just going to cause him problem after problem after problem.
It's gonna be an exciting last 7 laps for him.
It's going to be absolutely chaos. He's definitely sticking it out. I mean, where would he have finished? Had he have pit, I reckon he'd have come out 4th, wouldn't he? Pahor and Sauda would have gone above.
Yeah,
So he's staying out, betting at the fact that he can try and stay above Sauda. If not, he remains in the same place he would have pitted. So
actually, yeah, that's also true.
he hasn't got lots to lose at the moment, but definitely is still in a position where it can go horribly, horribly wrong, especially if he makes a mistake and then all of a sudden he loses that time to Sauda and possibly even Hodorowski could take him. You don't know. It's interesting to see how this is going to play out to the end of this race. So Hodorowski is 13 seconds behind Sauda with 6 laps remaining. All is to play for.
Interesting. Like, I think Marco could have pitted like 7 laps ago, and that would leave him in the play for second overall. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Somebody asked him what happened to Chalky. It was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? He was on a pretty fresh set of soft tyres. I think they were about sort of 6 laps old maybe, and he came in after being overtaken by his teammate and put on a set of medium tyres. So he hadn't run the full extent of his softs. We weren't 100% sure maybe whether it was damage or whether it was just there was some problem that he quickly needs to come into the pit for. We're not 100% sure, but yeah, that was kind of the situation that happened and what sort of caused him to not be up there fighting for the lead of the race, because that's where he was at the start of the race. He was in a really, really good position actually, pretty much leading the first stint before then dropping down to P2.
Yeah, and his pace was almost identical to Mate Michaelides. So
yeah, they were pretty much toe for toe. They were identically paced. So yeah, it's a shame to see, but it has opened the door for another podium finisher. As now Pahor, we've got what's this? Just shy of 5 laps of racing to go, and Pahor is now a second off the back of Marco, and Sauda is 7 seconds off of the back of Pahor. This is close. This is going to be really, really close. Marco is 1,000% going for it till the end of the race. There is absolutely no point in pitting now. If not, he might even lose the place and move down to P5. So he's braving it.
He might lose it to P5 this way also. This rate.
Actually,
he's doing 190s, 19s.
I mean,
almost.
If you look, the rear left tyre is gone. The front left tyre has a smudge of white. How this man is still driving, I don't know. This is unbelievable to watch. And the fact that, you know what, okay, it's significantly slower than what the pace is at the moment. Well, right this very second, all he's doing is just holding up Pahor. who will probably get through at the chicane here if he gets a significant amount of slipstream. But if he doesn't, that's another lap behind him. All of a sudden, you know what? There's still a chance here. There is still a chance. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's minimal, but look at that. Marco gets such a significant advantage down that straight that there's absolutely no chance of Pachor getting past him. And
yeah,
you know,
but the
even through this corner.
critical part of the track is coming now. This very quick sweeping right-handers where you need the left tires and you need the grip. And I imagine this is where Marco is missing out on the times. But Pajor is not that significantly getting closer in this part.
Yeah, that's the thing. The section in which those left tyres are used so drastically, he's somehow managed to keep it level. I don't know how. This is witchcraft at this point, how on earth he's staying this far in front. I've got no idea how he's doing it. Those tyres, he should have been spun off 3 laps ago. That front left is now hanging on as the rear left's gone. That's not even to be questioned. The front left is now hanging on by a thread. It's a 6/10 gap that is opening down the straight. So Marco must just be using a maximum fuel to get himself through to the end here. That's another matter. Is he going to run out of fuel? I don't know. We've got basically, once this lap's finished, 3 laps to go. Oh, this is going to be...
Marco is the one with the most fuel on the track, actually.
So fuel isn't going to be a problem for him. So it is literally just holding on. And, well, 3 laps remain. He's still got Pachor behind him. How far behind is Sauda to Pachor?
Sauda had a penalty in the last lap, so he couldn't get closer. I just saw Sauda serving his penalty on the last lap.
Has gotten significantly closer now. Sauda, though, is just 3 seconds behind Pachor, so he's closing in rapidly. That was 7 seconds not that long ago, and I think here it is. Pachor is going to try and go for the move down the inside. Onto the straight we go, but soars through Marco. Somehow he gets a better exit. I don't know how this is happening right now, but yeah, in particular Sauda is gaining on the back of these two. He's now just 2 seconds behind these 2 drivers, so I think into the next it's got 2 laps remaining to make this all change. And as it stands, somehow Marco still leads these 2. This is impressive.
Another lap passed.
I think even if it goes awfully wrong on the final lap, I think you've got to give hats off to Marco for driving a superb last couple of laps. He's managed to keep him behind for so long. But look at this. Pachor is right on the back, and he's now trying to go for a move through the S's. He's absolutely desperate. He goes slightly wide. Pachor gets himself through finally on lap 47 to 48. He takes P2 from Marco, who's now under significant threat from Sauda. And a little bit of contact, I think, there possibly made between Marco and Sauda. All of a sudden, Sauda's through, so it's all fallen to pieces on the second to last lap here as Marco falls down to P4. Little bits of contact made there, and eventually Pachor got through indeed. And then just a corner later, once again, Sauda gets himself through. So Marco is now well and truly on the back of these 2 and will probably begin losing time, I imagine, considering the fact of how completely destroyed his tyres are.
I don't know, if you look at the fuel levels of both Pajor and Sauda, then again, you question the end of this race. It seems like they are empty at this point. And
yeah, there doesn't look like there's any fuel left in it. This is so
if it runs out,
close. Even more so, Pahor and Sauda are now so close to one another, 0.4 of a second between them. What happens if they make contact here? I don't even know. But what's that? And Marco fallen off well and truly.
Yeah.
He's fallen off the back of them. So he's going to need a miracle right now if he wants anything to do with those fights. But coming around the final corner is Mate, and he's won here in Road Atlanta. He's absolutely dominated the second half of the race after the unfortunate departure of his closest rival, Chucky. But he does indeed take the win here today. Pahor does still hold it through the chicane, and I think likelihood is he's going to come out with second place here today. Is he so? They're going to run pretty much side by side through the final corner. But it is going to be Pahor that comes across for P2 today and Sauda at P3. Marco
Very
eventually in P4 with an unbelievably impressive final few laps. And Hodorowski flashing his lights as he comes through the last couple of corners to be the final man to cross the line here today as we finish here. And well, what a race that was. What a finish that was.
Yeah, we thought at the point that it's gonna get boring for the rest of the race, but this final last 10-15 laps were surprisingly exciting by the end.
Yeah, well, I think safe to say it was looking like it was going to become a bit of a boring race. It well and truly had, but it turned itself around nicely and well got us an absolutely wonderful little finish. Do excuse me for 2 moments.
Yes, of course. So what a race, guys. Here in the chat, give us your driver of the day for today. Both the semi-pro, both the pro categories are in play. And if nobody had driver of the day, then I will choose one. It is obviously Mate Mihalides, who controlled the whole race very tight and easily. Nice racing from Marco as well.
What's
Too
this?
bad this strategy didn't work out.
Yeah,
What's
it was
what?
unfortunate on that strategy. But well, Mate comes across a tow win here at Road Atlanta. Pahor P2, Sauda P3, Marco P4, Hodorowski P5, Jockey P6, Panahan P7, Cezes P8.
Tunis P8, and I think it was Turoci P9, yes, Tashi P10, and me as the safety car.
In a
Finished
classy
P10.
P11. Alrighty, well, what a lovely little race that was.
Yeah. Both
That
of
was
them
frustrating.
actually. Ah,
Oh,
Marco.
hello, Marco.
Yeah. That was frustrating.
Marco, I'm really sorry what happened to you. I have to go, guys. Please excuse me. And
That's absolutely
Okay.
fine.
can I leave Carter here for the
No
to
problem.
hold
I'll do
the
interviews.
interviews?
That is fine by me.
All right. Thanks for everyone.
See you later.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
GG.
See you, Louis.
Bye.
Alrighty, well, let's get started. Marco, it was so close to greatness, wasn't it? But it was just not quite to be. Talk us through those last couple of laps.
Mate, Fire didn't wait. If he waited, he would have passed me anyway. But he completely pushed me off in the middle of the S's. That's unacceptable, really. Like he knows that I'm on no tires. He could have waited. He don't pass in the S's. He wasn't alongside. He wasn't fully alongside me to justify a pass there. And even when he went for it, he literally gave me no room at all, and I was forced off into the grass. And I was trying my best to at least finish on the podium, because I knew that I didn't have pace, so I I was trying to finish as high as I could, with a different strategy. But that's unacceptable what Payor did.
Yeah, well, we saw it was a very interesting strategy from you. Talk us through. I mean, I know that you obviously went onto those softs slightly later than everybody else, but I mean, for what? For the last sort of 4 or 5 laps, they were completely dead. When did you make that conscious decision to stay out rather than coming in?
I knew I was gonna struggle with it, but in the end, like mid race, I knew that I had to do something radical, otherwise I wouldn't have gained any positions. So I just went for the one stop, and it could have maybe worked, but I didn't save enough the tires to start the race, and that definitely came back to bite me in the last of the race. I'm frustrated,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, it was an absolutely thrilling end to the race. I mean, when you're in a situation like that where it is so tense, how do you manage to keep yourself focused on that objective and I mean just keep behind somebody that's on much fresher tires?
Uh, I was just trying to uh, um do my own thing. I didn't want to. I just tried to minimize my mistakes, but unfortunately, it didn't pay off. As I was pushed off in the middle of the S's. Um, uh, I that was the best I could have done, really. But I couldn't do much more than that.
Alrighty. Well, it's not too bad at the end of the day because you are still in the championship to go with the final race of the season at the Nürburgring. How confident are you feeling for that?
0. I'm hanging on to the championship fight by just a few points, and everything goes right for Mihalides like every single race. There is a very very small chance I might win the title. And the past few races haven't proven anything. I've struggled with pace since Dragon Trail, and my qualifying hasn't uh, been great ever since forever. Really, I haven't qualified in the top 3 for 3 races now, and I haven't started a race from the front row. So I'm just I'm just not the right guy to fight Mihalides. I don't think I was supposed to be in this place. I think Maka was probably the best rival to Mihalides, but he had one of the worst starts to a season that anyone could ever think of. And I don't know, consistency got me here, but I don't think I should have been here fighting for the championship.
Yeah, well, shall we move? There is something that I like to do as a commentator. It is called the 3-word race roundup. So, what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to say 3 words to summarize your race.
Um, trial, tribulation, frustration.
That's very fancy. I've got to say that is probably better than the vast majority I ever get. Congratulations on still a very solid finish, and quite
That was a
honestly,
liquid finish.
Well, it was pretty solid, nevertheless. To be fair, we were stunned in the com box about how on earth you were keeping them behind for so long. So congratulations on being able to manage that, because it was truly unbelievable to watch. And we'll see you next week at the Nürburgring.
Not next week, 2 weeks actually.
2 weeks time. Sorry.
Yeah, they moved Nürburgring to December 3rd, so
Okay.
yeah, we're
Alrighty.
good.
Well, see
Yeah.
you then.
See you.
Alrighty. Well, we have next up. Oh, he's disappeared again. He oh, that is no problem. Alrighty. Well, if that is the case, I shall depart. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been really nice. It's been my first pro race, and it has been really good actually. Some great quality racing, and it clearly shows why it is the pro class in just the longevity and people being able to go for 48 laps. I could never. Congratulations to the winners, and best of luck to all of those at the Nürburgring. It's my pleasure. Thank you. See you guys later.
Igen, itt vagyok. Hello. Igen, először is köszönöm a gratulációt. Hát igazából ott ugye az történt, hogy ugye kopott közepes keverékű gumikon volt, és a egyik jobbos kanyarról lecsúszott teljes mértékben, és ott be tudtam férni a mellé, és ott igazából ő észre sem vett, és emiatt történt szerintem ez a kontakt. Hát ez egy jó kérdés. Nem tudom most pontosan fejből, hogy mi lett a pontkülönbség. 17 pont volt a verseny előtt. Igazából meg fogok próbálni mindent. Én azt a versenyt szeretem, ami minél hosszabb, mert én úgy érzem, hogy viszonylag stabilan tudok menni a verseny alatt, és váltakozó időjárási körülményeket is szeretem. Ez majd kiderül, hogy lesz eső majd a verseny alatt. Igazából optimista vagyok, kíváncsi vagyok, hogy mit sikerül kihozni belőle. Köszönöm szépen. Jó éjt, sziasztok!